welcome to another episode of the Crispy Compact Communiqué, the 2020/2021 COVID impacted version of the Crispy Noodle podcast that you know and love, but we're still giving you a fresh episode every week, no matter what it takes. We're still coming together to give you the latest in sports, entertainment, and odd news. We got some very interesting topics to go over on tonight's episode. I am Rich Liebig.
And I'm Michael Costanzo.
And let us be the crispy noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. Before we get into sports, entertainment, and odd news, Mike, how you doing over there, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm just hanging in there, playing video games, watching TV. Been playing a little bit more of Death Stranding. Made it to the second big area in the game. I'm starting to see some roads being built.
There you go. That's how you know you're making progress.
Yeah, not nearly enough. That's the problem. Not nearly enough. But man, that game just continues to be ridiculous and absurd. And I play it pretty infrequently, but every time I play it, it's just scratching a certain itch. It's not fantastic yet. I still am struggling to see the allure of it, but whatever it is, something keeps drawing me back to it. I don't know what it is. So I'm hanging in there with that. I wrapped up Cobra Kai, which we will be talking about, I think, next week, maybe.
Yeah, we'll give it another week for you to stew on it.
Yeah, another week to stew on it, but that was very good. I got a lot of thoughts on that. So yeah, it's just been same old, same old. The great melting is happening outside in southeastern Pennsylvania. So the weather's starting to change over. I like watching the huge rivers of water melting off of these giant icebergs. It's fantastic.
Yeah, well, not only did the snow melt here in Philadelphia, it was also a very rainy weekend as well.
Mm-hmm.
We're basically Seattle because it rains so much. I'm still in my thermal here because it's still damp and cold. But yeah, the weather is supposed to improve. Yay, sun, I guess. I don't know. I don't really go outside.
I don't go outside unless I need to anymore. So
right, correct.
We've gotten to that part. But Rich, how have you been doing other than avoiding the great outdoors?
Yeah, that's pretty much been my MO. Besides the rain and everything that happened this weekend, I did a little acting.
Very nice.
Every now and then I try to see what's out there, in terms of being an extra or something. But this one came from my girlfriend Rachel. Her friend was a producer on a movie shoot for a short film. So
wow.
they needed extras, and Rachel was like, "You want to do it?" I'm like, "Sure, yeah." I was a referee for a wrestling event.
That's right, you were.
So go ahead, put me in anything. Go ahead. I got some chops. So it was fun to be back on an active movie scene.
You got two credits to your name now.
Yeah, that's right. Technically, I'm on IMDb. So
that's right, you are.
So add another credit soon when that film eventually wraps. But it was cool. It was really low key. It was just a scene at a restaurant. So me and Rachel were just like another couple having dinner at this restaurant.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I definitely have to watch that when it comes out just to see you in the background. So let me ask a couple of questions here. Did you actually, did they have like fake like food or drink props? Because here you're not ever supposed to eat or drink anything in case, they don't want the actors to choke on anything. So did you do the whole miming, just like play with the food on the plate thing?
So yeah, we did that. And then what also we noticed was they had fake ice so that the ice doesn't melt. Yeah, right? Things you don't think about.
Yeah, that's cool.
If you used real ice, it would melt throughout your shooting, and you would have various level of water in your glass. So yeah, they had to use fake ice. So the ice would stay at a consistent level the entire time.
Oh, that's so neat.
I think they used grape juice for wine. That was another thing. So yeah, it was interesting to have these like little food hacks because somebody's got to be in charge of making sure that there's a sense of continuity as the scene unfolds. So
stuff like that. Those little tidbits are always so fascinating to me.
Yeah. So there you go, Mike. Answer your question. Yeah, fake ice. It's a real thing.
Nice, nice ice. There you go, Rich, the Hollywood big shot over here.
Man, I'm gonna make you a big star. So, hey, here we go, man. But maybe one day. For now, I'll settle with just being a random extra eating my meal in the background. That's fine. I'll take that. I like eating anyway. It works out.
There you go. Perfect. It's a match made in heaven.
Yeah. All right. How about we get into the news topics at hand? Because there's not to say there's a lot of them, but a lot of them are loaded with different facets, I think. Yeah. So although it may seem like we only have 5 or 6 maybe 5 topics, I can't count. Each one of them are kind of multi-layered, and this first one is definitely huge if this goes through. Going into the world of football, of course, just for Mike. But the world of football may be turned on its side as Peter King, who is a well-respected NFL reporter, NFL insider, just the cream of the crop when it comes to NFL reporting. He has a weekly Monday morning article that goes out, and in this week's edition, he proclaims that, quote, it is highly likely that the NFL is going to add a 17th game this upcoming season in 2021. They're not waiting. They're not waiting for the next CBA or anything like that. The NFL is gung-ho. They want more games. They want more games to sell to TV companies. They want more games to sell to advertisers. So this is it. The wall is going to crack, according to Peter King. He envisions how this is going to break down because obviously, it seems like the schedule's been perfected. It seems like it's the right amount of length already. It's a good even number. So there are a lot of concerns about adding a 17th game. Let's go with basics here for the schedule. So when does this game happen? The NFL is very adamant that they do not want to do anything during Labor Day weekend. Makes sense when you think about it. A lot of people go on vacation. A lot of people do stuff with that extra day. You get a 3-day weekend. You go on a trip. You go down the shore. It's also your last bit to do anything for the summer. So the NFL is very adamant. They do not want the season to start during Labor Day. So that's not happening. So the other option is that this is simply going to be an additional game at the end of the season. So that means we're going to have 17 games in 18 weeks because Peter King also reporting that there's going to be no extra bye. Sorry, this is the way it is. Tough luck. Tough luck, you schmucks. That's it.
Yeah, and that's actually the part that bothers me the most is that no extra bye. I mean, it's already tough enough with injuries and teams staying healthy, with the 1 bye week as it is. Now you're adding an extra week of play. I don't see anything here in the write-up about how this is affecting preseason schedules as well. There was already concern that if they added extra games, they wanted to remove preseason games.
Yeah, the goal is it will knock off a preseason game, so we'll be down to 3 preseason games.
Okay, I still think they should have had an extra bye week. If they're adding an extra game, I think eventually it will come to pass that there will be an 18-game season with 2 bye weeks.
That would be fair.
Essentially making an even 20, because the issue here is that they have 17 games in 18 weeks. They didn't want to make it 19 weeks and be all weird and odd. So I think eventually, because that was the theory that was floated several years ago, an 18-game season. So I think that's ultimately what they're going to push for in years to come.
Right. Because this is the part I'm pissed off about. We need more details about this 17th game. For those that don't know, the NFL schedule is actually a formula. It actually and it
works really well. It's a very polished scheduling.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I thought it was a great way to handle a schedule, but They want to throw another wrench into it. So for those who don't know, you play 16 games usually in the NFL season. 6 of them are against your own division.
Yep.
4 of them is against a division in your conference. Another 4 of them is a division outside of your conference. And then the other 2 is the other teams in your conference that finished in the same level that you did last year. So
Right.
if you finished 4th like the Eagles did, you're going to face all of the fourth place teams that finished in their division in your conference. And together that gives you 16 games. The
Perfectly balanced.
Yeah, that's what I
It
thought.
makes sense. You have the most games coming from your own conference. You play your own division twice each, and then you play a full division in each conference. I mean, it's perfectly balanced as far as I'm concerned.
Yep. So the 17th game, according to Peter King, it will be another intra-conference game, basically taking that ranking system and applying it to another team in the other conference.
Right.
So if you finished 4th in your division, you're going to finish another team in the other conference that also finished 4th. Here's where things get wacky, and I do not like this at all. Allegedly, this will be a 2-year plan, and what will happen is it will alternate by conference for the home field advantage. I do not like this at all, but
I don't like that either.
so for example, to start off, the AFC is going to get the home field advantage in the odd number year, so this year, and then following in the even year, the NFC will get the home field advantage. Therefore, what is going to be expected is that the 4th place Philadelphia Eagles, for the NFC East, they finished in 4th place. They are going to have another road game because they did not luck out on the year, the lovely this year addendum. But they will face another 4th place team in the AFC, and it is rumored to be the New York Jets. So in the end, that should be a winnable game, but I don't know. It's the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, we have to go on the road an extra week, but it is against the Jets, so it balances out there. This is another reason why I think it's going to go to 18 games, because you're telling me that all the NFC teams get one less home game to sell tickets, to sell merchandise, to sell food, to sell advertising in their home market on the television broadcasts. Nope, not going to happen.
Yeah, that's not fair.
The teams are going to push for an even 18 so they can each get 9 home games a season. I mean, money talks in the NFL, and if you're telling me 16 teams get an extra home game and all that extra ticket sales and merchandise, the other 60 teams are going to be like, excuse me, what the heck's going on here? So it's an interesting solution to a problem that they created for themselves.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. This is a problem.
They're like, oh crap, we have an odd number. What do? I know, we'll make half the league pissed at us.
Yeah, each year.
So,
each year. half of them will be pissed at us. Hey, 50-50, that's good.
50-50, right, exactly.
I see this as an absolute win.
Exactly. I do like the solution as to which team to play, though. It makes sense that you would play a similarly ranked team from the other conference. That makes sense. It's weird how they just pick the Jets randomly when you have 3 other 4th place teams to choose from. Like, I don't know, is there a formula behind that? I guess we don't really know.
Yeah,
they probably picked them out of a hat.
I think it might go by the last division. Who did the Eagles play in the division last year? Was it the AFC East?
No, it was the North because we played the Browns.
So no, then it's not the last one. Oh yeah, I have no idea. I don't know how they came up with. They just pick one of the teams that are on the same level. So okay. We'll see how that works. So there you go. That's going to be the 17th game they're going to tack onto the season. Allegedly, according to Peter King, this is very likely, highly likely. That's what he said in the article.
I'm never against more football, right? But it has to be done right. You have to have the extra bye week to give teams, I don't want the Eagles. The Eagles already have problems with injuries. You're going to give them an extra game now. Okay. So from an Eagles fan perspective, I want that extra bye week. I also want it to be a nice, even 18 games instead of 17. That's weird. I don't like it. I don't like the switching back and forth, even years, odd years with who gets home field advantage for that extra game. So
Yeah.
um, I don't mind the extra game. What I mind is the sort of half-assed implementation of it.
Yeah, I don't like the implementation. I think it sucks that now history is kind of going to have to be rewritten because it's been so long that we've had a 16 game season.
That's also true.
It fit so well that there was a reason why it never got changed. It fit
Yeah.
so well. It was the right length. It was the right length to that we could adequately test teams, determine who could make the playoffs, but yet it felt like we weren't, putting players at unnecessary risks either.
Right.
But now it's full blown just pure profit, and I think Mike, you're right. The end goal is really the NFL wants to get to 18 games. They're gonna make this kind of a pain in the ass for the next 2 or 4 years, while teams have to go back and forth with this home field advantage alternating years BS. And yeah, they're going to be the team owners are going to be the ones that are going to come to the table and be like, we want an 18th game.
The NFL is essentially forcing it.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine that 16 owners are going to sit there and look at all the missed. I mean, do you know how much money an NFL game brings in?
Yeah.
I mean, Eagles tickets are like a couple $100 a seat, and you think Jeffrey Lurie is okay with not making a couple $100 for 60,000+ seats in a packed stadium?
Yeah.
Nope. That's not going to sit well with 16 owners.
Yeah. So yeah, this is eyeing up for an 18 game season. I think you're absolutely right, Mike. And then, of course, just to be a football analogy, there's a kicker to the blog post that Peter King wrote, and that is he also predicts that in 2021 that there will be a Monday night playoff game. This is an interesting theory because the NFL playoffs expanded now to 6 playoff games for Wild Card weekend, so there is a lot of football that first week of the playoffs.
I actually hate this idea right off the bat.
Okay.
I don't like the idea of a Monday night game because, as somebody, and I'm sure you can relate, who works, a day job, watching Monday night and Thursday night games are the absolute worst thing in the world. You stay up until 11:30 to watch the Eagles get demolished by some, massively better team. I hate Thursday night games especially, and the Monday night game. You're just giving a playoff team an extra day to prepare than the rest of the field, and I'm not enjoying that. I think they need to keep the games as close as possible together as they can, and keep them on the weekends so that we can watch the games and enjoy them, and not have to stay up to all hours, on Monday and Thursday nights. I know they're never going to get rid of Monday and Thursday during the regular season, but don't make it a playoff thing either.
Okay.
You don't mind it on Monday night, do you?
I'm not totally against this idea.
Okay.
Because I do have to admit, especially when you have a girlfriend who's maybe not, the biggest football fan,
right?
It may be a little bit of a tough sell to be like, I want to watch 3 football games in one day. And I know she didn't really
enjoy that, did she?
So it might be better to expand this one more day and see how it goes. I'm wary of it. I do agree with. I will concede with your points that it may be unfair for the teams that get that Monday night game. But I think it's worthy of a little experimentation. And also, this is based on the fact that the season will go that extra week. The reason why this was never done traditionally was because the first week of Wild Card weekend would run into the national championship game for college football, and there was kind of an unspoken agreement that the NFL would never challenge college football directly. But now, if the season is going to be pushed back a week anyway, and they're not going to collide into the national championship game anyway, I think it's worth a shot. I think it's worth a shot at experimentation.
I mean, it's worth a shot, I guess. I agree. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I can see your points about wanting to. I mean, they want to capture. They want to be on TV as many days of the week as possible.
Right. I think that's something they learned this year with the COVID outbreak, because I know you
the Wednesday afternoon games.
I know you complained about it, but for gamblers and just fanatics, it was so much fun to watch a football game on a Tuesday night. It was so bizarre. It felt like we were in an alternate dimension.
It was weird. It was weird and dumb.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what's weird is I'm a traditionalist when it comes to a lot of football stuff. Even though I make fun of, baseball and golf traditionalists, I'm like,
don't mess with my football, see?
Keep it 16 games, keep it on Sunday, keep it, keep it to 6 teams in the playoffs and 4 games on wild card weekend. Yeah, I guess I'm a traditionalist, it seems.
Yeah. Well, sweeping changes if all this is true, per Peter King. So we'll see if he's on the right path and the NFL will announce it soon, or if he's full of crap. So, I mean, keep in mind, this is all what he said in this article.
Right.
He may be wrong, but I do see that. I see this happening.
I think the 17th game thing is pretty certain because we've been talking about that as a possible rule change for a couple of off seasons now.
Yeah.
So
we'll see if Peter King is right or wrong on that in the future. How about right now? We got some NFL off-season news. Yep. There are a lot of things starting to fall down the hill and create havoc for the NFL off-season. We have our first big free agency signing. The elite defensive end J.J. Watt signs with the Arizona Cardinals for a 2-year, $31 million deal. Further stacking the NFC West, man. The NFC West
it's going to be a tough division. Although I do think the Arizona Cardinals, that's a lot to pay for an off-injured defensive end. But we'll see. The Arizona Cardinals feel that they're right there on the cusp of greatness. They got Kyler Murray. They got some electric weapons. And now they're bolstering that defense. They see the competition in their division, and they got to keep pace. So this makes sense for them.
Right. And unfortunately, this is bad news for Russell Wilson, who is already on bad terms with the Seattle Seahawks.
Yep. Bad terms with the Seattle Seahawks. Also one of the most sacked quarterbacks over the past decade. So he's seeing this situation, and he's going, I'm not liking this. He wanted out before. He definitely wants out now. And now the rumors suggest that he'd be open to trades with 4 teams because I believe he has a no-trade clause, which means he gets to essentially choose where he goes. And those 4 teams are the Chicago Bears, the Las Vegas Raiders, the New Orleans Saints, and the Dallas Cowboys.
No!
Do I even need to ask you your thoughts and feelings on this one?
Look at me, Russell Wilson. The answer is no. No, stop it. Stop.
End this madness.
I hate to say this. If you are Jerry Jones,
go get Wilson. You go get Wilson.
If there is even a 5% chance that this could happen, you have to follow it. Because if Russell Wilson lands in Dallas, the Dallas Cowboys will own the NFC East for the next 4 years. There's going to be no one to stop them.
Look,
the Eagles are going to be in disarray. Washington is already dysfunctional, and the Giants don't know what the hell they're doing either. That's it. That gives you your key for 4 straight years of NFC East dominance.
I am very concerned. If Wilson comes to the Cowboys, I mean, they already have a stacked offense, wide receivers, running back, behind that offensive line. They have a defense that, is decent at times, bordering on good and pretty good. They could be, I hate to say it, incredibly dangerous if they get Wilson. And
it solves their Dak problem too.
It solves their Dak problem. They don't have to sign Dak. Yeah.
As much as we gave them grief for not signing Dak Prescott, that is the ultimate out. Screw Dak Prescott. I got Russell Wilson. That is the ultimate just mic drop. That would solve so many problems for Jerry Jones.
I got to admit, we got a little bit of egg on our face as Eagles fans because we were like, we locked up our quarterback. Look at Dallas. They're so dumb. If we didn't have a $30+ million dead cap hit this season, maybe we'd be in play for Wilson.
No.
2020 hindsight and all that jazz, but this one hurts. And if it's not Wilson, there's still rumors coming out of Houston that Watson wants to get traded. Watson or Wilson to Dallas. I mean, it's not looking good for the NFC East.
Yeah, if this
the
happens.
problem is Dallas has options. That's the problem.
Yeah.
If they miss out on Wilson or Watson, they just go to the next guy, and if both those guys miss, they still have Dak waiting there, who at this point,
Yeah,
I mean,
tag him.
He's still better than every quarterback in the NFC East right now.
Yeah,
just by default. So
franchise tag him, pay him the $40 million a year, and just swallow your pill. But you'll have a good season.
So the other three teams have no options at quarterback, and the Dallas Cowboys seemingly have three pretty good options at quarterback. So it's very upsetting. Let's talk about other news then, Rich. There were some big cuts happening as well. We just mentioned Washington. They cut quarterback Alex Smith, which means they're left with only Kyle Allen and Taylor Heinicke, who I don't know who these people are. But how does their quarterback situation compare to the rest of the NFC East? I mean, do they have any idea what they're doing?
I am thoroughly shocked they got rid of Alex Smith.
I mean, he was stability there. I know he's old and injured, but he's stability.
But even just that was like a morale boost. Like that was like the feel good story of 2020. That Alex Smith worked his ass off to fight injury, to fight the infection that almost cut off his leg. Everybody forgets that Alex Smith almost lost his damn leg to this injury.
He was almost on the verge of never playing again.
Yeah. Like, this is like the nice feel-good story that I thought a team like Washington would want to surround themselves with, especially coming off of the whole Redskins scandal.
Yeah.
No, instead they get rid of him. So I guess Washington is back to dysfunction as usual. That doesn't make any sense.
Leave? Did they ever leave dysfunction?
I'll tell you what, the back end of 2020, Washington was playing very decently. They were playing very well.
Or at least I picked them to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which proved a foolish decision.
Yeah.
Another foolish decision is the Eagles not trading Zach Ertz before this news broke. The Vikings plan to release tight end Kyle Rudolph after 10 seasons. This really just sucks the urgency out of the tight end market, doesn't it? It's almost like the Eagles can see a break that they might catch, and then another team swoops in like, no, we just want to mess up your plans. Rich, what does this do to Zach Ertz?
Yeah.
I mean, basically it sucks all the value out of that trade, doesn't it?
Just about. So I don't know if Howie's going to try and still trade him, but it's looking more and more likely that's going to be an outright cut, which is going to be weird.
It's going to be cut. I mean, it's going to be weird, but you don't just drop another top 10 tight end onto the open market and still have any bargaining power.
Yeah.
It's exactly what happened with Wentz. It's like we need to move Wentz and it's just open season on quarterbacks. We need to move Zach Ertz and here you go. First big tight end cut of the season. So things are just not looking up for the Eagles, but we do have a little bit of Eagles news to get to just briefly here. Merrill Reese was recently quoted as saying the Eagles taking a quarterback at number 6 overall is, quote, close to zero. And instead they'll develop Hurts and seek out a veteran quarterback. The options on the board, Marcus Mariota. Will the Chip Kelly era finally come to pass? Yeah. We also have former Colts quarterback Jacoby Brissett, who has ties to Sirianni. And, of course, the ever-present Ryan Fitzpatrick. Rich, what do you think about all this? Do you believe, Mel Reese, that taking a quarterback at 6 isn't going to happen? I mean, we had talked it was going to be offensive line, defensive line, or quarterback. But I don't know. Merrill Reese, he's got ins with the team. He's been around a long time. He knows what he's talking about.
I sure hope he does, because I do not want to see a quarterback literally at pick 6. That literally just has the nickname for whenever he burns in flames.
Yeah.
For Eagles fans to call him Mr. Pick 6. It's literally right there. Don't do it, Eagles. Don't do it. Don't.
With the Philly media, you don't want to bring on that juju.
Yeah.
So instead, what do you think of these options? Marcus Mariota, Jacoby Brissett, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Are any of these guys piquing your interest, or is there a wild card out there somewhere?
Okay, so Mariota got the tap by the news media this week because the Raiders are expected to cut him because I think he's due like $10 million this year. Something very.
It's like a backup too, isn't he?
Right, yeah, something very outrageous. So he's probably going to end up on the free agency market. It's just too much to pay for a backup.
Yeah.
So that is interesting, and it would be the formation of the Chip Kelly era that he dreamed about
It's a
a couple
plan
years
like
ago.
7, 8 years in the making, Rich.
Yeah. Jacoby Brissett, that's kind of that's just one of those. Nick Sirianni knows him from his days in Indianapolis, so it makes sense because the head coach likes to have a guy that is his guy,
Right.
somebody that he
Right.
knows. So that's a possibility, but I really want to see Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I knew it.
It would be awesome. All right, look, bear with me.
Okay.
The Eagles season.
Don't I always? No, go ahead.
Thank you. The Eagles season this year is going to be a mess anyway. The Eagles aren't going to go anywhere. It's going to be a horrible year. It's going to be a rebuilding year.
Yep.
Let's have a little fun. You throw Ryan Fitzpatrick in there in the fourth quarter. You're going to see something. It's either going to be 3 touchdowns or 3 interceptions. It'll
be entertaining.
Right. You're going to watch it. You're going to be like, "Oh my God, this is either going to be the greatest comeback ever or it's going to be a train wreck." And it may end up being more like a train wreck more times than not. But it'll at least be fun and entertaining. All right. Ryan Fitzpatrick is the current Brett Favre. I just love the fact he chucks it down the field and he has no remorse and no apologies for doing so. That is what I want to see. I hate these quarterbacks. By the way, go off on a random tangent. I hate these quarterbacks that take sacks on 3rd and 4th down, especially 4th down. 4th down, this is your last shot anyway. Go for it.
Exactly.
Throw it. Just chuck it. See what happens. Have some fun. Live a little. Wentz would do that too. He would take a sack on 4th down. Why?
Wentz took a lot of sacks for no reason.
It's the end of the drive anyway. You just throw it, see what happens.
Yeah. Actually, an interception in that case is better if it's 4th down. So you're absolutely right. I mean, just from a strategy point of view. But yeah, I knew you would like that Ryan Fitzpatrick up there, mostly because you added it to the rundown.
Yep.
But yeah, these are interesting options. I really hope that we don't take a quarterback at 6 either. So I'll take any of these guys as long as it means that we take a premier talent at 6 and not just another quarterback. I really hate the idea of inviting another quarterback controversy back-to-back seasons. So let's see what Hurts can do. It's going to be a rough season. Next year, the Wentz trade will most likely turn into a 1st-round pick, which means we'll have 2 first-rounders. If we have a bad season, we'll get another high-ish pick. So, we'll have a better chance at rebuilding if we just stay where we are now and see what we have. So that's what I hope the Eagles do.
Yeah.
And Ryan Fitzpatrick, of course.
Come on, Fitzmagic. I think he's played for like 21 out of the 32 teams.
He is literally the definition of an NFL journeyman.
Yeah. So come on, it's time for his turn for the Eagles. Come on down.
You're right. He's running out of teams to go to.
Yeah. He wants to complete the circuit.
Yeah.
So at some point, he's got to stop at the Eagles.
That's right. Oh man, now I really want to see that.
Yeah.
But moving on from sports, we have a lot of entertainment news to get into. And right off the bat, we have the Golden Globes to talk about. The Golden Globes happened this past week. I believe it was an all virtual event.
Yeah.
But we just want to go over some of the big winners here. Some pretty exciting stuff here. I'm just going to start right away. Best Motion Picture Drama went to Nomadland. I did not watch this movie. I did not pay any attention to this movie. Rich, do you know anything about this? It seems like these movies all came out. It's very interesting in this year with hardly any movies. You see these really, I don't want to say niche films, but like I had not heard of this at all. Usually this category is filled with big blockbusters and movies that we've all been having on our radar. And this is just like the year of seemingly random movies making it. So maybe I'll have to go check this one out. Nomadland won Best Motion Picture Drama. Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy. This was the category that we were all keeping a close eye on. For those video watchers, I wonder who won this one. That's right, Borat, subsequent movie film, took home the award. That was actually pretty shocking. I honestly thought it was going to be Hamilton. I thought
naughty,
Hamilton
naughty, no, 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 very nice. Time for
Oh.
Borat to shine. Yes.
the Borat quoting will never end now. Do they know what they did? They don't realize what they did. But yeah, Borat won. You know, props to Borat. We talked about this a couple weeks ago when we were previewing the nominations.
And also, Sacha Baron Cohen actually won as Borat too for Best Actor.
Right. And you know what? That one actually makes more sense than the Best Motion Picture for Musical or Comedy, because Sacha Baron Cohen, to play this character, I mean, and keep a straight face and to play it while interacting with actual people, you know, not on a set, not structured, no, you know, he has a script, but he's got to be ready for anything. That's incredible. Yeah. I mean, that's acting right there. So he really deserves that Best Actor for Musical Comedy or for a musical or comedy. The movie itself, I gotta admit, I didn't like it as much as the first, but it's really hard to do a comedy sequel, and it mostly pulled it off.
Yeah.
So, you know, props to the movie for doing what, you know, is usually impossible for a comedy. And I thought it was also incredibly timely and relevant, which probably had something to do with the award as well. So good on Borat for doing what I thought would never happen and win a major award.
Yes, Borat lives. Fantastic victory. I could not agree anymore.
And then finally, to wrap it up, one of the other big categories, Best Animated Feature Film. I always like to touch on this. It's actually a big year for animated films. We had 2 Pixar films and a surprisingly good Apple TV Plus original film, but Soul ended up taking the award. For those of you that haven't seen Soul, I highly recommend it. It's basically Inside Out for the afterlife, is the way that I always pitch it to people. So Soul won that. A couple of other notable facts here. Chadwick Boseman posthumously won Best Actor in a Drama for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Again, one of those under the radar films that I didn't really have pop up, you know, in my perusal of entertainment this year. But it's nice to see that he got some recognition. I mean, we always knew he was fantastic, you know?
Yeah.
So it's nice that he got recognized there. And then a final little tidbit here, Borat tied Nomadland and Soul for most wins with 2 apiece. So Borat is officially one of the most winningest movies in the Golden Globes.
Welcome to 2021.
I know, it gets weirder and weirder. Moving on to TV, though, this is where we had a bit more to say. We've seen a lot more of these shows. 2020 was definitely the year of TV. You know, with theaters all being shut down, everybody was locked into Netflix. Makes sense. Netflix won a ton of awards. The streaming services really showed up in the Golden Globes. But the big one, Best TV Series for a Drama, went to The Crown on Netflix. And I got to say, I'm super disappointed that I still have not been able to watch this series, but it continues to get better and better from what I understand. It actually led all TV shows with 4 awards. It won Best Drama, Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Supporting Actress. So Netflix finally winning the big ones. I mean, this is, you know, we've been talking year after year after year. Netflix steadily gaining more and more steam with these award shows, gaining that prestige. And now, you know, they're taking home the majority of the awards. It's really an incredible shift to see in terms of broadcast versus streaming. But one broadcast show that did win a big one, Best TV Series, Musical, or Comedy, went to Schitt's Creek, which, I mean, that was a given, right?
Yeah,
given all the other accolades.
It was too good. Too good not to win. Although I was interested to see how The Great would fare. I've been following that show for a little bit, and I think it was very worthy of getting a nomination. I thought maybe it could steal one, but Schitt's Creek is that good. It deserves the awards that it won.
Yeah, I mean, hands down, it was one of my favorite shows of the past year. So absolutely deserved that. Another really deserving one is Best Miniseries or TV Film, The Queen's Gambit on Netflix. I mean, Oh man, it was just absolutely stunning from start to finish. It made chess exciting, right?
It made chess sexy.
It did. Yes, it did. I don't have enough good things to say about the Queen's Gambit. It was easily one of my favorite shows this past year. So glad to see that it won. Um, I know you thoroughly enjoyed it as well.
Yes,
So
absolutely. If you haven't seen it, do it right now. That should be the next thing on your queue. And also, Anna Taylor-Joy won for Best Actress in a miniseries or TV film as well. So multiple awards for the Queen's Gambit as well.
yeah, and speaking of multiple awards, Schitt's Creek and the Queen's Gambit tie for second most awards in television with 2 each. So there you go. Schitt's Creek and Queen's Gambit. We've only been singing their praises all year long, and here we go, taking home some big awards, just like we knew that they would. We're geniuses, Rich. Geniuses.
Yes, we're every now and then we hit gold, but every now and then we also don't.
Astute observation. Uh, Speaking of striking gold, though, maybe CBS All Access can strike gold here with this rebranding to Paramount Plus. That's right, CBS All Access, the sort of C tier streaming service, is rebranding and looking to broaden its services and its scope here by becoming Paramount Plus. They recently revealed new details about the revamped streaming service, and I got to tell you, where I was very skittish on CBS All Access, I'm looking at what Paramount Plus is offering, and I'm kind of leaning towards the side of maybe checking it out. So to give you guys a rundown of some of the big announcements, the first thing that jumped out to me that I'm really excited about as somebody who grew up in the 90s with Nickelodeon, Nickelodeon's going to feature a prominent role on the service. They called out a lot of series specifically from the cartoon giant. First, right off the bat, Rich knows this is one of my favorite series of all time. Avatar is getting an expanded universe. They have tapped the original creators to do spin-off series and feature-length animated films. And these are all going to be on Paramount Plus. That alone makes me incredibly interested in the service. I've long said that Avatar, The Last Airbender, was one of the best animated shows ever. So I'm really excited to see Nickelodeon finally giving it its due and letting the original creators do whatever they want to on Paramount Plus. We also are getting a Rugrats reboot starring the original voice cast. Hey, look, man, I know you were never in the animated shows.
Everything else is getting rebooted. Why not? Bring back Rugrats.
Look, I loved Rugrats as a kid. Are you telling me you didn't enjoy Rugrats?
I did enjoy Rugrats.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic to see the world through the eyes of a these series of kids and have them talk about the things they hear the adults doing, and they're just mispronouncing and misunderstanding everything. It's always, and you know what I love? It's loaded with adult humor too.
Yeah.
That going back to some of those old episodes, you watch them and you're like, God, like you just like the part where Grandpa Simpson comes home with not Grandpa Simpson.
Wrong animated show.
Wrong animated show. I can't remember his name, but the grandfather comes back with the sexy VHS of the aliens or whatever. You don't pick up on those things as a kid, but yeah, I'm really excited to see the Rugrats reboot. They're also doing a live action Fairly Odd Parents. They're doing a SpongeBob SquarePants spinoff, and they're also rebooting Dora the Explorer for the kids and iCarly as well. So, I mean, 6 huge Nickelodeon franchises getting reboots, spin-offs, or sequels. So Nickelodeon going to be a huge part of Paramount Plus, which is great to see because I want to see all these, classic shows come back to life on a streaming service.
Well, yeah, it's important to get the kids ready. You got to get the kid audience.
It's the kids, but it's also the millennial nostalgia that they're tapping into, because millennials love nostalgia. Rich, as somebody who has just spent the past 3 years going crazy over Cobra Kai.
Yes.
Okay. So you're not immune from the nostalgia bug.
Yes, it's just mine is for some odd reason the 80s instead of the 90s.
Right, exactly. Well, you were born at 30 and you've only continued to age from there. So
I started out at 30. Just
started out at 30. Boom.
What's happening for dinner, Ma?
Yeah. So as somebody older, maybe you'll appreciate this. Paramount Plus has rededicated themselves to expanding Star Trek with 4 series currently in development for various Star Trek plot lines. They have Picard. They have an animated Star Trek. A lot of different Star Trek series available to Trekkies. Staying in the sci-fi realm, they also have an original series based on the Halo video game series, which was in movie development hell, and now they decided, screw it, we're just going to make a TV series out of it. That's the new trend
Yeah.
between The Last of Us and Halo and everything else. It's an untapped area
Yeah,
for
go
streaming
go
services.
TV.
Yeah, Go TV. They have a Frasier revival, as well as the Weekly Show with Trevor Noah, a possible Last Week Tonight rival. Maybe they saw the success of.
Sounds like it, especially for Trevor Noah, who already has the Daily Show. So
yeah, it's a very similar trajectory, isn't it?
yeah,
Because John Oliver was a writer on the Daily Show.
So like maybe this gives them a different avenue to do, a 20-minute weekly long piece on a topic as opposed to the traditional format that the Daily Show is, between news cover like the news coverage and then an interview, news coverage, stuff like that.
Yeah, I gotta say, you can't deny the success of the format. John Oliver's taken home, what is it, every Emmy for like the past 4 or 5 years straight.
Yeah, I don't think he's missed one since he started Last Week Tonight.
Yeah, so I mean, CBS and Paramount are looking at it and they're saying, man, how can we get that? And they see Trevor Noah, who very similar style and leanings and topics as John Oliver, and they're like, we could make something happen here. I like this idea. I'm actually very intrigued by this prospect. Another thing that I'm really intrigued about with Paramount Plus is they're doing something different with movies. Movies will debut 30 to 45 days after their initial theatrical release. So that includes big ones such as Quiet Place 2 and Mission Impossible 7, coming to the service 30 to 45 days after their release. I like this idea. In an era right now where you can't go to theaters, to have a movie hit a streaming service in just a month after it releases, and that's huge. I can see people flocking to the service just to start seeing new movies again without risking going to the theater or paying a premium to Disney Plus, the $30 to access new release movies. This is a comfortable middle ground, right?
Yeah, Disney kind of made themselves the villains in this market when they did the whole $30 additional charge. I mean, if CBS Paramount comes out with this and says, "Hey, look what we got," and it's just part of the package, they look like the heroes in this. So
yeah,
makes sense.
exactly. Especially when you look at the 2 tiers available for this package. Paramount Plus will have a $5 ad-supported tier and then a $10 ad-free tier. That's super competitive pricing for everything that I just talked about. In addition, you get live sports, you get live streams of news and the regular CBS channels, up to 6 user profiles, 4K HDR support. It seems like they really packed everything people expect out of a modern streaming service into this package. You compare this to CBS All Access, which was just CBS shows. I have to say, I am super intrigued about this new offering.
Yeah.
So it has to pass the age-old question, is it worth it with these new streaming services?
Well, I think this was much needed because I didn't know anybody that bought CBS All Access. I don't know if you did, but no. I don't know anybody that actually bit the bullet and bought CBS All Access.
Literally, the only people that I've seen express interest were my parents, because they've tried to watch Star Trek Picard and they're like, how can we watch this show? And I'm like, you have to subscribe to CBS All Access and you're not subscribing to a service for one show.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. But now when you look at this, movies 30 days after theatrical release, a huge slate of old and brand new Nickelodeon content, reboots of classic shows like Frasier, and committed, revivals of Star Trek, and, the new Trevor Noah, live sports, live news. You have that huge back catalog of Paramount movies, right?
Yeah, we'll see. It might be enough. It might be enough to tip the scales in their favor.
I'll say this about Paramount Plus. The closest that I can think of a comparison is NBC Universal Comcast's Peacock service. I have not watched anything on Peacock other than Hell's Kitchen reruns and Office reruns. So if Paramount Plus can make a case with these new original shows, I will definitely tune in to see new Avatar shows and new Star Trek and, the rebooted Rugrats and Trevor Noah show. It immediately has stuff that I'm more interested in right off the bat compared to Peacock. So it really comes down to whether they can deliver on these promises, because so far those are the only two, distributor specific, channel specific streaming services I can think of, to compare against. So Paramount Plus just has to beat out Peacock. It doesn't need to, level up to Netflix or Disney Plus status. It just needs to beat out the other channel specific ones right now.
Yeah, I think that's a fair market analysis, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. That will wrap up entertainment for this week between the Golden Globes and Paramount Plus. So we did sports, we did entertainment. It is time for odd news. And, oh man, this is a story that literally came across my feed a couple minutes before we decided to record the podcast for this week.
Oh boy.
So I had to do
news audible.
Yeah, so I had to do an odd news audible here, but this story is very good. It fits with one of your favorite themes. I know you love this theme, and that's naming stuff.
Oh man. Okay.
Because we're gonna go to Minnesota in this
interesting
in this story. Cold like Minnesota. Cold
it's
like
cold
Minnesota. Yeah. Get little Yachty down here. It's a state. So in Minnesota, the Department of Transportation has officially announced a full batch of new names that they are going to give to each of their head snowplows that were voted on by Minnesotians.
Wait, hold on. First things first. They name their snowplows?
Yes. That's how much snow they get. You got to name the snowplows.
Wow. Don't they have a lot of snowplows? What do they mean by head snowplow? Is there a snowplow that's like
the lead snowplow?
What does that mean?
The cream of the crop, the top dog, numero uno, the big cheese.
Okay. I don't. So like, what is this like the premier snowplow? Like this is like, the top vehicle in the fleet. Like what? How do they? All right. Anyway, yes. I'm just insanely curious about how they decide their lead snowplows.
Yep. So they have 8 different districts, and then they have their main city district, which they call the Metro District. Okay. And the top 8 winners got these names, with the overall winner getting the cream of the crop, the Metro District name.
You should never leave this up to a fan vote.
Why not?
What have we learned in the past with Bodie McBoatface?
Why not? This is a democracy.
Look,
let the people vote on the names of the things. They really want to name various things. You put it out online and the guys will come up with names, and that is the way a democracy works.
You were kind of going for Les Mis, and I think you lost.
Yeah, I lost
the tune partway through.
I lost the melody. This was on the spot. What do you want me to do?
Do you let the people vote on internet names? Yeah. So I mean, there's 2 schools of thought here. One is the Bodie McBoatface school of thought, which I subscribe to. It's awesome. Letting people vote on things is great if you want to have ridiculous names like that. The problem is, though, as in the case with Bodie McBoatface, is these government bodies, these institutions, don't like the names that people come up with. So why even put it to a vote? Well, I think Bodie McBoatface actually ended up being the name of the boat.
Yes, but it was due to a backlash. I know what you're thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
It legitimately won, and then the institution that put on the contest didn't like the name, so they rescinded it. But then, due to all the popular the outrage behind that decision, they went ahead anyway with the name. So,
exactly. If you're going to do a fan vote, you have to actually name it based on the votes.
Well, guess what?
And I'm hoping that's what Minnesota did.
Guess what? This is an official news bulletin from the Minnesota Department of Transportation. So they are accepting the names. This is going forward.
Oh man, I cannot wait. All right, Rich.
This is from dot dot. I gotta say dot, not dot.
Right.
dot.state.mn.us. This is the official website. So
Okay.
these names are going forward, whether you like it or not.
Hit us with the names. It's gonna be amazing. I already know it.
So let's start. So they have 8 districts and then the overall winner. So here are the 8 districts' lead plow names. Congratulations. Okay. Here you go. The lead plow names. For District 8 of Minnesota, your head lead plow is going to be known as the truck, formerly known as Plow. Prince.
Okay,
Prince. It makes sense.
Yeah,
Some Prince themes. There you go.
Yeah.
Makes sense. For District 7 of Minnesota, your lead plow will be F. Salt Fitzgerald.
Nice.
I do like that one.
It. That's a good one. They're very creative so far. I like them.
I do like that one.
F. Salt Fitzgerald. I like the play on words with these first 2 names.
Yep. For District 6, your lead plow is going to be Snowby-One Kenobi.
Oh my god.
I love that one. That is fantastic. Keep up the good work, Minnesota.
Yo. See, and I'm glad they're actually going with these, because they could have been like, oh, we don't want to name our plow Bodie McBoatface or whatever. Yep. But no, they stuck to it.
Okay. I guess District 5 is the Metro District. So I guess I was wrong. I guess it's 7 plus 1. So it's 8 overall.
8 overall. Okay.
I did my math wrong. So it's 7 plus 1. And District 5 is the Metro District. So we'll get to the champion in just a little bit.
Okay.
District 4, your lead plow is going to be named, just gonna plow right past you. Ooh, gonna leave you in the dust.
Wait, that whole thing?
That whole name is going on the back of the plow.
Wait. Hold on. That was like an entire sentence.
It is. I don't know how they're gonna fit that into a name.
It's just gonna
plow. No, it's oop.
Oop.
Yep. Oop, just gonna plow right past you. That whole thing. That's the whole name.
Oop, just gonna plow right past you.
A little bit of attitude too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
wow.
Say, sorry, if your car can't handle the snow, we're driving right by you.
Wow.
So
I like it.
District 4, you're getting a little sassy one.
Yeah, a little sass right there. Nice.
Yep. District 3 of Minnesota, your lead plow is going to be called Darth Blader.
Oh, nice.
Get the blades out for Darth Blader.
Hold on a second. They have 2 Star Wars puns.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Minnesota is full of diehard Star Wars fans. Don't you poo-poo them.
No. Look, one pun is fine. No, you need to share the puns. You got to get a Game of Thrones pun in there. There's a whole bunch of winter things that they.
Well, I'm sorry. Apparently, they didn't come out for this vote. Star Wars fans did.
It's because Star Wars fans have nothing better to do.
Hey, it's all right. You're salty, if you will.
Oh
yeah! Take that.
But it's so obvious that
I loaded up the pun gun. Boom, 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 boom,
oh no!
Boom!
Oh my god! I'm just disappointed nobody said John Snowplow yet. Come on, man. Anyway,
no, all right. Well, then you may like the District 2 winner.
Okay.
District 2 of Minnesota. Your lead plow truck is going to be named Plow Bunyan.
Nice.
There you go.
That's probably my favorite one. Plow Bunyan.
Plow Bunyan.
That's awesome.
All right. This one, I don't know if this is actually true, but the name is going to stay. For District 1, Minnesota, your lead plow is going to be called Duck Duck the Orange Truck.
No, that's the best one. Duck the orange.
You know what? Now I hope the truck isn't orange. That'd be so funny.
The truck is like blue.
Yeah.
Duck the orange truck. Or they just have to paint the truck orange.
Yeah.
Look, you have two options, Minnesota, okay? You stick with the name regardless, or you repaint your fleet so that this one makes sense.
Right. Or you have to put a giant duck on the truck.
Duck the orange truck. I love the internet.
Yep.
Oh my God.
All right. So those are all the surrounding counties, but it's time for the ultimate winner, the Grand Poobah, the head of all tables, the king of kings, the Metro District lead plow of Minnesota. Mike, it's the internet. What else would you expect? The winner is Plowy McPlowface. Yes, there you go. So
it's breathtaking.
There you go. I have the full 8 winners now displayed on our screen. Wow.
Plowy McPlowface.
I love the internet. Let's review. The truck formerly known as Plow, Darth Blader, F. Salt Fitzgerald, Snoby-Wan Kenobi, Plow Bunyan, Duck the orange truck. Oops, just gonna plow right past you. And the ultimate winner, Plowy McPlowface. Wow.
That's amazing. I'm so glad that you called an Odd News Audible for this, because you're right. I do love naming things. And there were some really great names here. I mean, my favorites, I think, are, Snoby-Wan Kenobi is great. I think of the 2 Star Wars puns, Snoby-Wan Kenobi is better than Darth Blader.
I would agree. Yeah, Snoby-Wan Kenobi's better.
Yeah. I also really like Plow Bunyan. That's a fantastic name. But I gotta tell you, my 2 favorite have to be Duck the orange truck, because it's so ridiculous. Of course, Plowy McPlowface is just classic. It's just classic.
Yeah, you gotta love Plowy McPlowface. That is definitely the winner.
If you leave anything up to an internet vote to name something, it will be
Blanky McBlankface.
Right, Blanky McBlankface. Yeah, Bodie McBoatface, Trainee McTrainface, Plowy McPlowface, whatever it is. Whatever noun it is, it's Blanky McBlankface.
Yep.
Without fail. And it's always the best name. There will never be a better name in the history of names.
No. The internet has done it. Once again, the internet has come through and saved the state of Minnesota.
Minnesota was hanging on by a thread until the internet came in and they were like, Plowy McPlowface. Boom.
There you go. Mic drop. World saved.
I am disappointed, though. They probably couldn't use it, but Mr. Plow from The Simpsons.
I bet you
Plow King. Yeah.
I bet you there's probably a copyright or something with that.
I'm certain that was one of the options, and Minnesota's like, can't do it.
Yeah. But instead, you got Duck the orange truck.
Duck the orange truck. I got to tell you, that
has a good ring to it, I got to admit.
It really does. I don't know why they picked orange. I love that. I mean, I hope the trucks are actually orange, but Duck the orange truck. I just cannot get over the brilliance of that.
Yeah. It sounds like a children's song that you never heard of.
Right? Yeah.
Duck the orange truck. I want to rhyme it with F, but I can't do that here on the Christmas Compact.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No, we're trying to be a PG-13 show.
Yeah.
But there you go, folks. Real Snowplows coming to you in Minnesota. That's their names. They're gonna be handling the snow from here on out. So what a great odd news story. You gotta love the internet. Let's have the internet name more things. That's what I've learned.
They should just name everything.
Go ahead.
States, cities, trucks.
Schooly McSchoolface.
Every school would just be Schooly McSchoolface.
Yeah.
District 1, District 2, District... Yeah, you just add a number to the end.
Perfect. Okay, so other than naming stuff, it's time for the segment where we go over things that you could do this upcoming weekend with apocalypse activities. Mike, you have anything to recommend to people to do this weekend?
Man, I mean, I finished Cobra Kai, so I'm going to steal your usual go-to and just push that on people like a drug dealer. Go watch Cobra Kai. It was really good. I don't want to give away too much because we'll probably be talking about it in the weeks to come.
Yeah, and so everyone watch Cobra Kai so we can have
Yeah,
a full-blown discussion next week.
actually, yeah, that's a great point. Everybody go watch Cobra Kai, so everybody knows what we're talking about. It was, it flew by. It really did. I mean, the longest episode was like 40 minutes. It's only 10 episodes per season, so it's over before you realize it, and then you're sad because it's gone. So go watch Cobra Kai. That's my apocalypse activity. What do you got, Rich? What are you going to be doing?
So I guess something on a similar vein, because I think this might be something that I need to advertise before it happens. I would say if you have not watched Sons of Anarchy or the Mayans universe, I would say pop that in and give that a shot. It's one of my favorite shows. Or on the flip side, maybe you watch Sons of Anarchy and you never got into Mayans. Do that because Mayans season 3 is going to start in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I enjoy the Mayans spinoff. I think it's almost as good as Sons of Anarchy. It's pretty damn good. It's FX show, so I guess it's on Hulu. If you need to binge watch it.
Okay.
So I would say check that out and get ready. You have 2 weeks to binge watch and get ready for the season 3 premiere when that debuts. So that's what I'm going to recommend. Do it. Start it now, so you have 2 weeks to get ready.
There you go. Perfect.
Planning ahead. But there you go. All of our plans have now come to fruition, and it is officially time to wrap this episode up. This has been the Crispy Compact Communiqué, NFL news, movie news, naming snowplow news.
Snowplow news.
What more could you ask for in a weekly podcast?
It's got everything people want.
Yep. If you like what you heard, check out our website, thecrispynoodle.com. Make sure you follow us on all the social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the whole shebang and bang.
That's right. You can also find the video version of this podcast on YouTube, in addition to a whole bunch of other videos we have up there. So make sure you check us out there. You can also still get the audio version of the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Amazon devices, pretty much anywhere. So make sure you search for, download, and subscribe to the Crispy Noodle Podcast on YouTube or the podcast service of your choice.
That's right. We also have a SoundCloud page where we have mini noodles. Check that out as well.
That's right. So many ways to get in touch with and share the Crispy Noodle Podcast. But if you want to get in touch with us individually to share your sports, entertainment, or odd news stories, you can find us on Twitter. I'm at Mikey Costanzo, MikeyCostanzo.
And I'm at Rich Liebig, RichLiebig. Find us on the Twitters. Let us know what's happening. Give us a tweet or a message if you want us to talk about something specific on next week's episode. Our goal is to talk about Cobra Kai next week, so maybe if you've got a question relating to that, why not leave a comment below and we'll tackle it on next week's episode. But for right now, I think it's time to wrap this up. This has been the Crispy Compact Communiqué, the COVID offshoot of the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. You got anything else left, Mike?
Nope, that's it. Everybody have a great rest of the week.
All right, that'll do it for us. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Later. Bye-bye, all you fine peoples.